You want me to check on my phone? It looks like it's. It's the best good looking. I believe you. Okay, great. You good? It's slightly delayed, I think.
Yeah.
Which is really throwing me off. Go back to the Zoom meeting. Recording, so Ken's just doing the document, so if you want to start the reading, then it should be okay. Okay, it's not 9:30 yet. What? It is? I'm kidding. Good morning, everybody. Calling this meeting to order. We'll start with a moment of reflection. We are at item 3, confirmation of the agenda. I have a recommendation that the council agenda dated February 3rd, 2026 be approved as circulated. Moved by. Sorry.
And so I did add Councillor Martin's Roma report on Friday, so if we could just amend it for that.
Okay, so council agenda dated February 3rd, 2026 with the inclusion of Councillor Martin's Rona report. There was also an additional added, right, at the end, the request for the games day.
That was on the original. That was on the original.
That's it for, yeah, all right,
There was only one addition.
okay. So as amended, moved by Deputy Mayor Wilhelm, seconded by Councillor Corby. All those in favor? Carried. We are at 4, declaration of pecuniary interest. Does anybody have anything? Councillor Jeff Bell?
8.3.C. I got a street light right outside of it anyway, so.
Okay. He says he's gonna declare pecuniary interest. Was it affects me? Oh. Well, I didn't have any other problem with me. I have to go back in. Okay. I'll catch you after. Okay. Anybody else? Seeing none, there's no closed session to report. And we are on to item 6, consent agenda. Would anybody like to see anything pulled from 6.1 to 6.17? Councillor Marco?
6.12, I just wanted to have a letter of support. You want to talk about it now, or you want to?
Sure.
So this started in the city of Welland. It's a protection of Canadian children. I mean, I don't need to get into the weeds of it, but I think it's pertinent that we protect our youth. So I would write a letter of support to advocate with to go along with the town of Elmer.
Okay, would anybody else like to comment on that? Do you need does he need a motion?
It would be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, we're writing a letter of support.
Please.
Moved by Councillor Mark Bell, seconded by Councillor Jeff Bell. All those in favor? Any discussion? All carried. And anything else? No, we are then moving to public meetings, hearings, and delegations. The consent agenda 6.1 to 6.17 be received for information and that the regular council minutes of January 13, 2026 be adopted. Moved by Councillor Martin, seconded by Councillor Vanessa. All those in favor? Here, all those in favor. I got up at 5:30. Any opposed? That's carried. Thank you very much. Sorry about that. Okay, we're at 7.1, public meetings. And the recommendation that the council meeting be adjourned at 9:53 a.m. in order to convene a public meeting pursuant to section 34 of the Planning Act concerning an application for zoning bylaw amendment for the property located at 565596 in the Township of Perth South. Moved by Counselor Corby, second by Counselor Martha. All those in favor, opposed, carried. And we then are moving into. This is an application for a proposed zoning bylaw amendment to satisfy condition 6 of consent of application B 46/25. The application is submitted by Dale Farms, Leroy Bryan, and for property described as Park Lot 9, Section 7, Blanchard Ward. And I will now ask the clerk to advise and confirm of the method and date of the notice given for this meeting.
Thank you, Mayor Orr. Notice was circulated by regular mail and is live posted on the property as of January 14th, 2026. As required under the provisions of the Planning Act, as well as being posted on the Township website.
I will now ask Haley Helena, planner, to provide an overview of the application. The floor is yours, Haley.
Good morning, Mayor and Councilors. I'll be presenting zoning bylaw amendment 9-25 for lands municipally known as 5655, line 6 in the Township of Perth. Next slide, please. The subject lands are located on the south side of line 6 and surrounding properties are primarily used for agricultural purposes. The subject property is designated as agriculture in the county official plan and zoned agricultural in the Perth South zoning bylaw. Next slide, please. The subject application is required to satisfy a condition of consent application B 46/25, which received conditional approval in December of 2025 by Perth County to sever a surplus farm dwelling as a result of the consolidation of the remnant agricultural lands with an existing agricultural operation. The subject application proposes to rezone the severed lands from agricultural zone to special agricultural zone A-1 to permit the existing residential use and accessory uses. The application also proposes to rezone the retained lands from agricultural zone to special agricultural zone A-3 to prohibit any new residential development on the agricultural lands. In light of the foregoing, it is the opinion of staff that the zoning bylaw amendment is consistent with the provincial planning statement and conforms with the county Perth official plan. Thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Haley? Does the applicant or their agent wish to provide any additional information? Seeing none, I will now ask the clerk to provide any comments received from the circulating agencies and landowners.
And thank you, Mayor Orr. No comments were received.
Is there any person in attendance who wishes to make any comments regarding the application? All persons are to state their name and address for the minutes. Seeing none, do any council members have any questions? Does the applicant wish to respond to any comments? Seeing there's none. Thank you to all those in attendance for your input, and council will consider all the comments received when making final decision on the application. We now adjourn this public meeting and reconvene in the regular meeting. Moved by Councillor Martin, second by Councillor Castel. All those in favor? Any opposed? Carried. Thank you. And we are going to move right into the. Okay, this is, I don't need to do this. Okay. Recommendation that the township and the council receive the report dated February 3rd, 2026, entitled zoning bylaw amendment Z9/2025, submitted by Brydale Farms. Co-owners Leroy and April Bryan, affecting lands described as concession 7, part lot 9, municipally known as 5655 line 6, and that the township of Perth South council approves zoning bylaw amendment Z9/2025. Moved by Deputy Mayor Wilhelm, second by Councillor Finesse. Any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? That is carried. Thank you, David. Okay, we're at 7.2, the consideration of a drain report for the letter and drain and branches. I'll second the butter. Who made that? We're having a bad morning here, Brandon. I usually have a script that I read from, so I don't have anything that ready. So, sorry, my fault. We are going to move in to the drain report. The floor is yours.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Today we have a new drain for Burke South. This is section 4, so it's a brand new project. It's tributary to another drain that's was completed called the Thompson Drain. This is an open ditch. So this drain is on line 4 on the far end of the township near Road 161. So we received a request from the flooders who own a number of properties on this road, as well as received a request from the upstream owner, Mr. Thompson. So this essentially is there's a handful of landowners here. To be honest, they were all in attendance, or we've talked to all of them during the process. This was a project from last fall. And this was the first report issued this year from our office. Again, tributary to an open ditch, which is on the north side of the road. We are proposing a new tile drain that runs up to line 4. Across line 4 into the Flutter farm, across both their farms into the Thompson farm, as well as there is 3 branches, A, B, and C, to help serve some drainage on the east side of the watershed for Mr. Thompson, as well as along the road. This is an 1.5-inch design drain. Again, it starts with 21-inch tile, ends at a 10-inch tile, and some of the branches are smaller at 8s. It's approximately 2,400 meters of pipe is included. From a roads perspective, so currently there's a 30-inch CS underneath line 4. We're gonna slip line it to avoid open cutting it. So the road is approximately 4 meters deep in that location. So we're gonna slip line the existing surface culvert as well as bore the road underneath and then grout the existing subsurface basins on each side. That's where the road assessment's being driven from. Total cost of the project is $281,000. But I'm happy to answer any questions if there is any.
Any questions for Brandon? Do the landowners have any questions for Brandon? Some are in attendance?
Should be one on each side of it. Or more on the side.
I'm seeing no questions for Brandon. No discussion happening? Oh, Councilor Vanessa.
Just a question there, Brandon, can you explain the core assessment and the special assessments?
So it should be 2. I turned the right page. So. There's 2, so there we have a slip lining. So the first one is the bore underneath. So this was a regular drain bore. The cost works about 20,000. There's some admin. There's a credit for if the road, we call it less equivalent, which would be the cost of concrete tile across the road. So that's about $23,000. Then when we were out there, Mr. Bettles was there at the meeting as well. We looked at the existing, there's a 30-inch surface pipe under the road. I would say it's at probably got 6 to 10 years left at its most before it's completely gone. We do have a cost in there of slip lining that culvert, which is about 16 grand. So those are the 2 specials now. Nice thing with specials is you pay actual costs, so if they come in cheaper, the township reaps the savings. Comes in more, the opposite happens. Those are realistic prices. The problem you guys have is the last 4 we did on line 4 was last fall. I can tell you it wasn't super successful.
A lot of stones.
Yes, a lot of stones. It was very hard to machine. The bore went through, but this area is rocky.
Thank you.
Any further questions for Brandon? Okay, so here I have a recommendation that the report for the flood drain branches are prepared by Brandon Widner of Street Associates in accordance with section 42 of the Land Act be received and adopted. Moved by Councillor Jeff Bell, second by Councillor Mark Bell. All those in favor? Any opposed? Carried. And now we're going to talk about dates for the Court of Revision. Brandon, do you have any in mind?
No, usually it was at
Hi,
pre-warns me. I'm not pre-warned, so no, I don't have any.
Do you want to move it quicker for the 17th or do you March 3rd? Okay.
so the 17th is an evening meeting. And then the next meeting after that is another day meeting on.
We can probably do either or, it's the.
It would depend how quickly well, we don't have to have the tender out before the code revision, correct?
I can't do Tuesday evening.
Okay, so March 3rd is, if that's okay.
One thing I will say is, yes, we haven't had so many drains going in the last couple of months. There's a drain coming out for tender almost the exact same time on 23 in Lucanville. So obviously these projects will be very close together, so that should help pricing. Because it's February 17th, the quarter revision for that drain. And it's just on Highway 23 down the road here.
Okay. Okay, I have a resolution with the Board of Revision for the flood drain and branches be set for March 3rd. And that the drainage engineer be authorized to call for tenders with the closing date of. Oh, I have to go back.
You want it Friday before that, okay?
No, because our agenda, oh yeah, we can do it Friday before, because we won't do it as an open. Because of the code revision,
So that's the 27th.
yes.
Okay, so February 27th. Moved by Councilor Vanessa, second by Councilor Forview, all those in favor, any opposed, carried. Oh, I'm sorry.
I just realized that's the tribunal hearing dates. Oh,
That
no, we'll
should
figure it out.
affect tenders, right? No.
I usually open the tenders. It's all good.
You'll
Never
have
mind.
time.
Never mind.
Yeah, definitely no time. All right,
You'll be looking for things to do with it.
thanks, Brent. All right, we're moving on to 7.3. We have the building condition assessment, Zach Salmon from ADSI. He's coming online, I believe. All right. Thank you for coming, everyone.
You agree?
Oh, can anybody hear me?
Oh, I can kind of hear him. Zach, can you,
Speaking through this.
speak again?
Can you hear me now? Hello.
Very faintly, so we're just trying to get the speaker to go through the owl.
Okay.
Do you want to try again?
Yeah. Anybody can hear me now?
So where's the sound coming from?
Oh, here.
Is it coming from the computer?
It should, that's how.
Okay.
I think it's coming from the computer.
Right now.
Can you try again?
Yeah. Can you hear me now? Hello?
No.
Hello? Let me know when you can hear me, please.
Yeah. See where it says audio on the microphone.
Hello?
We're just testing the speakers again so that we can hear you better.
Okay.
There you are. There we go.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Thank you. All right, Zach, the floor is yours.
Oh, thank you. Hello, everyone. Good morning. If you can please put the presentation on the board. Let me know when you can see the presentation.
Okay, we can see your presentation.
Perfect. Okay. Good morning. This is a presentation for the building condition assessment we conducted in 2025 for 18 building. First of all, next slide, please. So just gonna talk briefly about the building condition assessment, what's that and why we're doing it, and what it's covered in terms of component for the building, and how we do the condition grading. Once we're done with reports, so we are able to create FCI, which is Facility Condition Index. We'll talk about how we come up with FCI and how it's calculated, and what it gives in terms of information, how it reflects like a condition of the building, and help the decision maker decide about specific building, what to do with them, keep maintaining them, or no point maintaining them, and so on and so forth. We look at accessibility in general. We did the accessibility review for each public building. And then we have the Downey Optimist as a sample for accessibility kind of review. We also look at the mechanical asset at Downey as well. And we will show a summary and what to do next. Next slide, please. So building condition assessment, it's a proactive and strategic approach to understanding the state and condition of municipal asset and facilities. It's an essential tool for ensuring these assets remain in state of good repair, supporting the effective delivery of services to the community. Next slide, please. So why are we doing it? So obviously there's regulation, and every municipality has to meet this asset management plans regulation, Ontario Regulation 58817, to ensure compliance, accountability, and transparency. We do it as well, and we used to do it even before the regulation came, just to make sure that the buildings are maintained well, and they could keep serving the public as needed. It assesses the risk for any facility, that technically, if we don't do this, what happened and what the risk. So, for example, if you have a roof leak, that if you don't repair the roof, what can happen? Eventually, it may happen to may lead to shutting down a facility or disturb the service for the public. Cost optimization. So it look at each component technically, whether it's performing as needed, or is performing better than expected, or also if not performing as it should be. It helps the decision maker to make an informed decision based on the repair needed, prioritization of repair, and so on. It maximizing value for taxpayer, ensure the service is not interrupted. Sustainability, so the longer we can keep a building, that is the sustainability. So the longer they can keep the building in good repair, the longer it serves the public, and at the long run, it saves money as well. So community impact, it builds public trust, improve safety, as I said, and enhance resident quality of life. Next slide, please. So building condition assessment, it looks at pretty much every component of the building. We start with the substructure, means foundation, concrete decks, roof decks, ceiling decks, all that, basement walls where applicable. The shell, which we call the envelope, that's obviously the roof, the walls, windows, and doors. Interior, we look at flooring, partition, washroom facilities, stairways, and so. So services, as obviously cover plumbing, toilet, sinks, urinal, everything, HVAC, rooftop unit, air conditioning, heating, electrical equipment, electrical supply, and main panels, and lighting. Fire protection in terms of fire alarm panels, smoke detector, heat detector, any fire protection for the building. Equipment and furnishing, that usually cover appliances, kitchen appliances, in terms of pavilion, the concession equipment in general. special construction usually look at if a building need to be demolished or what need to be done. Also look what we did. Also part of this assessment. I should have mentioned that earlier that we did designated substances studies for the building that that we suspect they will have any designated substances such as asbestos, lead, mold, or any other material that can be harmful to public and staff. So site work, we look at landscaping, parking lots, the drainage in the parking lot, building signage, walkway, approach to the building for the accessibility, and main power coming to the building, and as well as water wells and septic systems. Next slide, please. So the criteria, as I mentioned, so we calculate the FCI. So the FCI, we'll see that in the next slide. The FCI is technically look at the repair needed and improvement needed in the first 5 years. And the reason it's 5 years because usually building condition assessment is recommended to be done every 5 years. So it look at first 5 years, what need to be done in terms of repair, improvement, enhancement, and we divide on the total cost of the building, and that give us the FCI. And now based on the percentage that we get, if we get something up to 5%, that's good. Up to 10%, now we're in the fair. Between 11 and 30, the building considered in overall poor condition, and greater than 30, this means the building is very poor. Now, I gotta mention here that, let's say, large building and we have a roof that cost a couple $100,000. So that obviously will show right away the FCI is poor or very poor. But as soon as we replace this roof, the building right away, excuse me, the building criteria right away improve. So it based on state of good repair means keep maintaining the building at all time. Next slide, please. Yeah, so this is what I was talking about, what the FCI and how we do it. So in this case, we did the cost in anything need to be done in between 2026 and 2030. And we divide by total replacement cost of the building and how and multiply by 100. How we come up with total replacement cost? The way we do building condition assessment, we are very thorough. So we pretty much list every component in the building, including foundation, including slab on grade, which is some people will say like you're not replacing slab on grade. That's correct. You replace slab on grade and foundation only if you demolish the building. So, but we calculate all this, we quantify it in order for us to get the costing. Now we know how much it costs to replace this building, i.e. is to rebuild another building with similar kind of like function. So obviously low FCI value means the building is in good condition. The higher the FCI, it show poor, fair, or very poor. Next slide, please. So again, this is what explained in the chart. It's 0 to 5 good, 6 to 10, 11 30, and more than 30 is very poor. Next slide, please. So here we, as I mentioned, that's what building condition assessment is. We're looking at infrastructure condition and maintenance. So based on the 18 facilities that we review, we have 2 community hall, 2 fire hall, 4 utility building, storage facility, 2 pavilion, 2 playground, 2 outdoor facility, and recreation facility, and 2 offices.
Zach, can you speak up a bit?
Sorry?
Can you speak up a bit?
I can't hear you clearly, sorry.
Can you just speak a little louder?
Oh, okay, sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah. So this is the list of the building we did. There were, as I said, 2 community halls, 2 offices, 1 recreation facility, 2 outdoor facility, 2 playground, 2 pavilion, 1 storage facility, 4 utility building, and 2 fire hall. So next slide, please. So based on these 18 facilities that we reviewed, we determined, and based on FCI, that they are 22% are in good condition, 27 are in fair, 33% in poor condition, 16.67 very poor. And I gotta say that before anybody kind of like take any impression that this is it's aligned with what we've been doing for other municipalities in a small community. This is what usually find. Like the percentage here is kind of aligned with what we usually find. We usually find like close to half of like 50% of the facilities are in poor or very poor condition. So it's not something like to be alarmed or something like unusual. This is what we've been seeing in the last 10 years, I would say. Next slide, please. So here we determine, this is just an example. This is are the buildings that in good condition based on the FCI, and you see the FCI here 4.6%, 3.4%, 5.4, and 0.3. So this is the municipal offices, the Downey Community Center, the Recreation Pavilion and Canteen, and the agricultural building. That's a new agricultural building. So we go next slide, please. We're gonna show the fair. So these are buildings that were in fair condition. Former municipal office, drinking water building, office structure for South landfill, the fire station at Sebringville, and the fire hall at Township. Next slide, please. So now we are to the building that in poor condition, mainly the public work buildings, the pavilion that at Crichton, the pool house at Crichton as well, and the community center. Now, the reason why the community center and made it to the poor, not fair, because the roof, as you see in the first 2 years, we anticipating $260,000 because of the roof. The roof is older and is in poor condition. The former architectural building, this is like a older building with minimum maintenance. And the other public work was a Quonset. Obviously, the Quonset did not help this section because the Quonset is from 50s and it's really in very poor condition. Next slide, please. So the very poor, there's only 3 here. The Quonset I will start with. It's a building from 50s. They have old roof and with rust and deterioration. Even the slab inside, there's no slab inside actually. It's sitting just on the dirt, and there's cracking on the foundation wall. The reason the playground, both of them made it to very poor, mainly is the flooring. So the playground currently they don't have any protective flooring. And the new standard now, mostly we go with rubberized flooring for protection for kids. And as well the equipment, playground equipment get outdated very fast. The standard keep changing, the legislation. So even if the equipment may look not bad, but they're outdated, technically speaking. So that's the reason why they made also very full. And this flooring that I'm talking about, they're not cheap. They're expensive flooring that they go pour in one shot. So there are obviously alternative material to that, but we just price what the best standard here. Next slide, please. So here, just example now is why this building made it to poor or very poor. So here the playground, as you see, the equipment basically and rubberized flooring. So that's what this category that require the money. Next one, please. So the Quonset here, as I mentioned, the concrete slab need work and the roofing. These are the major costs here. There's no concrete on this building; it's just sitting on dirt. Next slide, please. The second playground, pretty much same thing. The flooring, the equipment is a little bit newer, but the flooring need attention. Just dirt there. Next slide, please. So the one in poor condition, the public work, the newer section is just wood deck, and the wood decking is not up to standard in for the ceiling in public work. Public work building need to be fire rated. Usually they have a fire rated gypsum board or metal panel ceiling. So this is kind of higher, as you see here, there's a higher cost for interior walls. The slab also has lots of cracking and deterioration, so that's also superstructure. So these are the main to cost and eventually the overhead door as well will come into need to be replacement. Next slide, please. The pavilion at Crichton is pretty much was built and not much money spent on it since then. So it requires quite a few improvement. Part of it is a suppression system. So there's a kitchen there with propane, and there's no suppression system. So this needs to be improved. There's quite a few items actually need to be done in this building. It needs like a major renovation. Next slide, please. The pool house, the equipment, the sand filters are getting older. The pool itself, the decking is not waterproofed, so just painted concrete. So the standard is to waterproofing, so we won't have many water infiltration to the underground and meet the current standard to be waterproof. The decking as well around it needs some attention and repairs. The accessibility need work on this building as well. So that's mainly the items here. Next slide, please. As I mentioned earlier, the community center in general, the major cost is roofing. The HVAC equipment is as well has refrigerant, what we call it R22, the old Freon, which is no longer accepted in the industry, and the unit itself is aging as well. So there's quite a few HVAC work need to be done here, and the main cost is the roofing, and there's some fixture as well. Accessibility upgrade, there's accessibility improvement there, but need more upgrade. Next slide, please. The former agricultural building is it's very old, and despite I don't know if it has any heritage value or not, needs some work. So these columns are wood columns. They're sagging. They're not holding the building as it should. So this building either need major work or need to be taken care of. Next slide, please. This public work, as I mentioned, the Quonset is kind of like taking it to the pool section. The Quonset roof need work. The decking inside, it's been the wall actually at the back. It's been hit by tractors multiple times with some repairs done. They are the new now salt dome and sand dome. They look way different than that, and they have concrete walls inside to protect from tractor movement and operation. As well, the structure, the roof is get hit a couple times with tractor with some repair done, but these are all wood structure that start to get deteriorated and need attention in the short term. Next slide, please. So this is what we said. We did some accessibility review for Downey Optimist. So you have barrier-free parking stalls, parking spot outside, barrier-free washroom inside, and with all the barrier-free sink, inclined mirrors, barrier-free door, main entrance. The small upgrade needed still is grab bars to meet current code, which is L-shaped grab bars in the washroom. The urinal need also a grab bar and need to be adjusted in the height. There's stairway with handrail that do not comply with AODA because there's a second floor there, and some doors as well need power operator to be accessible. Next slide, please. So here, just a sample how our Excel work, Excel sheet. This is obviously was done as part of asset management program. So you have asset management program in place that take our Excel and upload it. So it creates reports for you and can summarize work for you, combine work. Let's say you need to do window replacement on one building and window replacement on the other building. So combining project can lead to cost saving in same type, same like the apply to roofing, to HVAC, any other project that you combine in different location, same scope. So this is what we create. We look at each component, when we think it was installed, how long it should last, when it need to be replaced, and if there is any, if it lasts longer than normal, we'll adjust that so to push it further, or vice versa. If a component is not aging well, we shorten the life to be replaced earlier. It's every component. It tell you where it's located, what's the condition of it. Whether it's good or fair or poor condition overall, and how much money need to be spent now or in the future in the next 25 years. So this covers 25 years pretty much. Next slide, please. So the summary, as I mentioned, from with the graph that we have 22% good, 27 fair, 33 poor, and 16. That's based on the FCI calculation. Next slide, please. So next step, where we go from here. So you look at our reports, our report, and what we asking for work to be done, and look at each building based on FCI, how we can bring all this building to good condition, or whether some building need worth spending money on them or not. That's the decision we usually don't take and don't make. Sorry, that we'll leave it for you to do that. Next slide, please. I think that's the end of it. So yeah, happy to answer any question. I know this is a lot of information. I'm not sure if you have time to review this report before or not, but I'm happy to answer any question to the best of my knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you, Zach. I'm sure your questions. Just also wanted to point out that this has to also go over to the Perth meeting, because we do share that facility. So, and this is probably one of a few reports that are going to come, but this is our first look at it. It's an overwhelming report if you looked at it all at once, but we're gonna go through this piece by piece. Questions for Zach? One, Dr. Vanessa?
Yeah, I guess first question, Zach, could we go to page 15? And yeah, page 15, 14 doesn't matter. Which one's that? What is that? Just so very poor rating.
These are the playground, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you go to number 10, the ones at Barn, Zach, could you go across and explain those numbers to me?
So, the 750 is obviously the square footage of the building. The 430,000 is if you want to rebuild the building with similar kind of function. That would we think it costs 430,000. We anticipating you need to spend 340,000 in the first 10 years to make it in state of good repair. Hence why it get the very poor condition, because now you're spending 75% of the cost of that building in the first 10 to keep it running. So the ones obviously that's 341 is the first for the 10 years. So the cost in 2026 and repair needed now is 173,000, and in 2027 is 13,000. So and then we have here obviously the first 2 years we adding the 173 and 13. In the 3 to 5, we're not doing anything because most of things are needed now. That's why nothing in the next 3 to 5. But then in the 6 to 10, another 154. So if we're adding this 154 to 187, you get the 341. But 187 is plus the 0, which is the 3. So first 5 years, first 2 and first 3, and next 3, which is 187. We divide this 187 over 430, you get the 43.5% as the FCI. Now, that's second, just saying when we think the building was built and when we think the buildings need to be replaced or demolished.
Okay, thank you for that. I'm just wondering, how did you arrive? How did you arrive at a cost for that building to be $430,000?
Yeah. So
is that Toronto's numbers? Is that Perth County numbers?
No, so we do work. I didn't mention that we do work across Ontario, from Thunder Bay to Ottawa to Toronto area. So we look at prices based on areas, not standard. We have the box, that Hanscom box, that costing box, but we our company is kind of two division, one doing building condition assessment and other studies, and the other section of the company does actual jobs such as roofing, window replacement, foundation repairs, anything has to do with building envelope in general. So we look at actual job. How much? Let's say we did a job, roofing job in Kitchener, which is not far from you. So we look how much the roofing per square foot in Kitchener versus in Toronto versus in Ottawa. So the further you are from the center, like a major urban area, the higher the cost will be. So in Toronto, if you have a job, you find like 50 people, 50 company competing for it. Once you go away a little bit, you find less people competing for major jobs. Now, on the other side, small jobs, let's say small repairs, usually in out of town area are cheaper cost, because you'll get people that live there. Their overhead is less than living in, let's say, for example, I'll take it again, Toronto area or Ottawa area, because the rent here is very expensive. The rent there is cheaper. So we look at each component based on our knowledge and the box. We have the box, that standard box, Hanscom box for pricing. We add it. So it's I gotta say that it's not a crystal ball, or it's not something like you get like a up to like a 2% difference. Our costing is tolerated up to 15%, 20% difference. So we've made something, we say it's 100,000, you may do it for 115 or 85. And that's, we, as again, with our background in construction, we understand that if you want to do work in the winter, you will find lots of contractor bid on it because they're not busy. If you want to do something in the middle of the summer, or let's say school work, then everybody busy with the school, you'll get higher price. So it all depends when you tender your job, in busy season or less busy season, based honestly sometime on the economy, if the economy is doing well or not. If everybody's busy, you're not getting cheaper prices. If nobody's busy, you find lots of people competing. So that's how we build our prices. First, as I said, we go to a building, we measure everything. So we have the square footage of any component, whether it's roofing, foundation, slab on grade, lighting, all that. Now, let's say we go see lights with fluorescent or HID lighting, that's older lighting, we price you right away to replace with LED. And like if we see a furnace that's not high efficient, we price to replace with high efficient furnace. So that's how we do it.
Okay, thank you for that. I can't speak to any of the other facilities, but I know I just built a barn 4 times larger for this for under $300,000. So I have no idea where that amount come, but I thank you for that answer. One final question. This report we received is 29 pages that we received. How big is the actual report? How many pages?
Talking about the Excel is just one sheet. I'm not sure if you have that. I don't know if I can share my
No, we have
screen.
not received.
So the Excel is just one sheet. It covers all the components. So the sheet just go in heights. So whether you have like you go open playground, you find 5 items, 6 items. You go open the curriculum community center, you find more than 100 items. So it all depends. It covers all the items from we start, as I said, we start from the structure component, and then we move to envelope component, and then we go to interiors, and then we go to elevator, if there's elevator, and then plumbing, HVAC. We go electrical, life safety, and equipment. So this is just a cutout of the mechanical. This is all D services, but it depends on the building. This sheet can go longer. So I think I can open specifically the Downey. So the Downey Community Center, it has 125 component. So versus if you open a playground, you see 4 or 5.
Oh. That's excellent. Thank you for that. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Councilor Markgraf?
Just want to drill down on the former municipal offices. They're about 1,000 square feet. I'm wondering how you arrived at a couple of the numbers. I'm also wondering how you got this condition to be fair, not in the good category.
So the former. Yeah, so this facility has water treatment equipment that feeding I believe the municipal office, the municipal office, and the public work next to it. So there's lots of equipment in the basement for that. Yeah. So first of all, because this has a basement, so the foundation cost is like close to 150,000 because it has basement. And there's addition to the building as well. These are the high costs for foundation and slab on grade and all that. The floor structure as well for second floor. We have the roofing as well. We have brick walls, which is very, as I said, it's getting very costly to do bricks. Less people do masonry nowadays. And if you see new buildings, they don't use bricks anymore. They just do panels for fast construction. So quite a few costs for the slab on grade, foundation and bricks. And there are equipment. Yeah, there's metal roof mainly the cost here, close to 100,000 with ice dams. Gypsum board walls, high cost, flooring, hardwood flooring in the building. There are aqua component in the, as I mentioned, in the basement. There's a water treatment system in the basement. There's water control panels for aqua. These, I believe, the major cost. There's a generator outside. That's also close to $25,000. There's asphalt parking lot next to it that also include in the cost. There's piping to the wall. There's a water wall, as I mentioned, and water treatment there. There's a ramp outside, free ramp that we asking. It was built recently, but does not meet code. I think we push it a few years. But yeah, there are wells. So there's few costs for wells and the septic system. So that's what. So a building like this as a square footage, I understand your concern. Like it comes as like a $1,300 a square foot. A building like this is usually 600, 700 max per square foot. But there's our costs include the site component, whether it's asphalt pavement, septic tanks, water walls, and again there's water treatment in the basement, which is not normal for an office building.
Okay. So what specifically pushed it to a fair rating versus a good rating? I mean,
that is what needs to be done recent. So there was renovation done on the main floor, and the equipment in the basement is fairly new as well. So there's not many costs needed. So the first major cost, I believe, in 32, which does not make it to the FCI, and that will be the UV bulbs for the treatment system. There's a UV bulbs that worth like $15,000 there. The cladding as well coming to be, but this most of the costs are past the first 5 years. So if you have a copy of the Excel, you can see how we actually added, we break down the cost from 2027, 2026 all the way to 35. So give you the first 10 years. But the Excel itself, it tell you each component when gonna be replaced. So there's a column called replacement year. It tell you that whether that it's happening now or later. So it goes all the way to like whatever the building gonna be replaced. I think this building we saying that 2050 you can keep it. I know it's an older building, but it went through lots of renovation. So that's a kind of decision always need to be considered when you renovate an old building. You always end up with old building. So obviously I'm not hinting anything here, but any old building you fix, it's still going to be old building. There's still a component that old. There's still accessibility challenges. I know accessibility may not be concern in certain building, but that's what trigger other municipality to keep a building or not keep a building, because you get to a building that you cannot make it accessible. Let's say, for example, even Downey, you have a second floor that you don't have an elevator. You can't get to second floor if somebody has special needs. So these are things that we don't, as I said, we highlight them. We don't make decision about them.
Okay, I don't really accept the fact that it's not accessible. We just spent $250,000 on that building to make it accessible. We also just repointed the foundation within the last 5 years. So your claim of the foundation not being up to snuff is not true. So I'm not understanding why we have a 1,000 square foot building at $1.4 million replacement value. And in the next 25 years, we got to replace it. And I mean, basically every inch of that building has been touched in the last 5 years. So I don't get that. Moving on, my other question is about the pool. You talked about the major renovations that has to happen at the Kirk and Wooden pool. Can you just talk about that for a second, please?
Sure. So the pool I mentioned earlier, the pool basin is not waterproofed. So waterproofing. So I'll just can list for you the item that we think require attention in the first 5 years. So I'm going to talk about major costs like $15,000-$20,000 and more. So there's a retaining wall outside that it's deteriorating and need work at the stairs down there that leading to the parking lot. We have $30,000 cost for that. That's outside. We have the circulation pump that need to be replaced soon. It's corroded. Was full of chlorine affecting the pump. The chlorine system itself need to be upgraded. That's $7,500. The scent filter, we anticipating $90,000 cost for scent filter in the next 5 years. The lifeguard tower are older, do not meet current code, $10,000. The pool walls and the pool basin waterproofing, we estimating $80,000 approximately to waterproof them. The diving board are original or older. They need to be replaced. They're deteriorating. We're anticipating $25,000 for that. The main switch is corroded and need to be replaced. Electrical. You have the boiler is the boiler is 13 years old and have corrosion, so anticipating the boiler going to also be replaced in the next 5. It's not energy efficient as well. The slab on grade in the pool, I believe, is always settlement and cracking. Sorry, at the decking. The pool, there's settlement and cracking at the pool. So we're anticipating $35,000 to repair that. So these are the major repair, and if we summarize this, the first 5 years, it's $500,000. First 10 year, 5 year, public pool. Yeah, so that's what it is. So the total in the first 10, 5, and the 5 is, yeah, 350 and 160. So that's where the 5 is. So our report are available in detail, and we're happy to discuss any specific component. And if, as I said, if you think that you can do work for less money, we're happy to adjust that report.
I guess my main question was, do you have any accessibility issues with the pool?
Okay, so give me a second here.
I thought I heard you mention that in your presentation.
For the pool, yeah, so I believe there's no power door there. There's one power door only, but once you go inside the building, I think the change room don't have power doors. So accessibility means every door to get to where you want to get has to be power operated, sorry, very free. So main door, change room, anything that you do need to be accessible. I don't believe, yeah, so the men change room and women change room are not very free doors. That's one. The service, I think the counter is barrier free. Yeah, so the counter where we serve people at the front is barrier free, but the doors are not. Yeah, the cubicle are barrier free. And the toilet are barrier free. So technically, only the door to get to change room, it's not barrier free. And I think that the door to get to the pool deck as well, because you have to get to the pool. So you have the two doors. Only the main door I think is barrier free. The rest need to be barrier free.
They're saying the 2 doors need to have power to them to check the box of accessibility.
Yeah, so you have to have every door, whatever any person with special need to go, all the doors have to be barrier free. So the main door, the door to the change room, and the door to the pool deck. These are like kind of like 3 doors have to be barrier free to get to make the facility barrier free. Right, for accessibility for doors, and it doesn't stop on this. So it goes, obviously, if you have a change room, the light should be on motion sensor so they don't have to kind of like all the light at certain level, at like close to no more than like 3 feet 6 inch, then at where person in a wheelchair can reach.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Deputy Mayor Wilhelm?
Yes, I have 2 questions. One is the playground equipment. You have over $100,000 for both of the playground equipment. Is that for a rubberized surface for the playground equipment? And if so, are there not a lot less expensive materials out there that you could use?
You are correct on both points. So the high cost is for rubberized floor, which is technically running at $25 to $30 a square foot. Now there are more options, different options as kind of engineer would. I'm pretty sure your operation managers and recreation manager can come up with a solution that less costly. But as I said, we mentioned what we see, and standard is kind of like in other municipality, but there are other options, obviously. So you don't have to kind of spend this much money for playground. Obviously, also the area is large, as you see, like in this photo. So when we account for our floor, we account for floor everywhere. You see gravel here, it's be rubber floor, so kids can play not only around the playground but anywhere else, and then if they fall, they don't hurt themselves. So, but clearly, yes, there are other options that more economical.
Okay, thank you. The other question I have was, I believe I saw in the curtain hall to change the lights over from the current lights to the LED lights was quite expensive. And is that more want than need?
Yes, I would say once and energy efficient. So that's a more there's nothing stopping you from running fluorescent. Well, I gotta correct myself because in 2030, Canada as a country banning fluorescent in altogether. So for now until 2030, you can run fluorescent, but mainly yes, mainly energy efficient. So I don't have to kind of like say that, but LED running as like 20% or 15% running cost, operation cost than any like high intensity light like HID or incandescent, which is barely you can see nowadays, but even like a 2-3 times more efficient than fluorescent. But until 2030, you can run fluorescent, yes.
Thank you.
Any further questions, Councillor Jeff Bell?
Thank you for the presentation. Is it fair to say, and I think I heard you mention this at some point during the presentation, your pricing is based on the best standard, and not necessarily the only standard. I feel like there are, as you mentioned, with the chips or the rubberized for the playgrounds, you priced out the best option, but there are other compliant options available. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes, I agree with you.
Thank you.
Any further questions for Zach? Okay, seeing none, thank you, Zach, for your presentation. I have a recommendation that the council receives the presentation from Zach Solomon of APSI regarding the First South Building Condition Assessment for information. Moved by Councillor Corview, seconded by Councillor Vanessa.
Can we have a recorded?
Sure.
Thank you. I'll take over the calling of the vote. So when I call your name, if you could answer yay or it's supposed to be yay or nay. You can say yes or no. For the receiving the report for information, Councillor Martin.
Yay.
Councillor Jeff Bell.
This is just for receiving, yay, yes.
Councillor Vanessa.
I will say no because it has not been received by councillors, sorry.
Councillor Corby.
Nay.
Councillor Martell.
Nay.
Councillor Wilhelm. Deputy Mayor Wilhelm, sorry.
I'll say yes, but I would like to see all council receive the full report.
And Mayor Orr.
Yay.
That motion is carried.
All right. Thank you, Zach.
My pleasure. As I mentioned, if there's further question, happy to answer via email or a phone call. Thank you.
Okay.
Have a good day.
Okay, thank you, Deputy Mayor Wilhelm.
Further to that, I would like to see all council receive the full report. I know it's a big report, but I would like to see council receive the full report. And the other thing I would like to see is that staff bring back a summary or recommendation on how we can move forward over the next couple of years, few years, whatever. And I'll pick on the works department buildings. I think there's over $800,000 in repairs and those. Well, should we be looking at a new facility? And I think I'd like to see staff bring back some reports and recommendations on those. And same thing with the Kirkland complex, get together with South Huron and see what we feel actually, or staff feels that actually needs to be done. And get an actual cost. I believe these costs are inflated and not current to our area for sure. And we don't necessarily need a Cadillac when we only need a Volkswagen.
Will, do you wanna?
Yeah, I think those are all fair points. Really just as an introduction to the report, We thought that the presentation alone as a standalone today would be a good first step. There's gonna be a lot of big decisions for everybody in the food to take as we go along. Picking up on what Deputy Mayor Wilhelm said, that's absolutely part of the plan. And it's going to take, as I say, the entire group here, working through that process. I think that this, information will dovetail nicely with some of those other decisions, as Deputy Mayor Wilhelm was saying, we have some other service areas that we'll be looking at. I think it's very fair to say that, some of the pricing, is absolutely adjustable and possibly to a point where some of these may be moot, costs to even discuss in the first place. So I think that's another important point. I think before moving on, and I'm not by any means going to rehash the entire presentation, but I think there are a few key things to keep in mind for everybody before we leave the topic. The first thing being, it's the purpose of this exercise is multifold. Okay, it's not just about looking at where's the buildings, how much is it gonna cost, let's start running it and paying for the building. So that's definitely not the big thing. I think one of the key things certainly is for our capital asset management, we need to look at. And as staff, we also look at that too. So if there are costs that we've been given that don't necessarily fit with what we feel is appropriate, there may be adjustments made to that, but we need a baseline coming from somewhere. So I think that's a really important factor. I think further to it though, is really the FCI percentage. And that's the good money after that percentage, obviously, and how they look through that. I think some very good points, Councillor Mark Bell made some very good points. What's the difference really between a building that we would look at as good and one is fair? When we really look at that percentage, we're talking 2-3% between something being in one category or the other, which could completely be based on, again, a cost that may not be 150% accurate until we go out and get a quote. We don't know that until, as I say, we put it in number and see what the pricing is coming in at. As Zach said, some of it's seasonal, some of it is how busy some of the contractors are. So I think that's important to remember as well. And most important, but I guess I would say when we look at it, if we think to the very big picture here, the good and fair buildings, for the most part, are, I don't know if it's fair to say, sort of set it and forget it, but it is kind of a situation where we're gonna have little things that come up. The staff will say, hey, this year there's one window to replace, or there's some caulking to be redone, or there's a piece of eaves trough. That's really how we're looking at it. And I don't know that it would be the best value for council's time to really get down into those facilities, knowing that. I think that we can look at the big picture and see where some of our poor and very poor buildings are. Those are where the major decision points really are gonna need to be made. And I think then following up to the bottom line point that Deputy Mayor Wilhelm just made, we are gonna have to get into the weeds there. And we are gonna have to get the spreadsheets in, and we're gonna have to look at all those costs. And I think as part of that, possibly before even we get to the point of staff bringing back that sort of larger all-encompassing report, it may be worthwhile for the entire group to sit down and start to prioritize where do you want to put the efforts. Keeping in mind a good chunk of these, we're gonna be in a mutual discussion with South Huron on, right? So that's going to also be a process that we'll be walking through. But again, no doubt that that's an absolutely necessary process to come along. It's gonna look not only at the building, but what are the service needs as you've said. So, yeah, definitely wanted to make a few notes there before we just look at it. We're looking at the pure numbers. We're saying there may or may not be a problem with the number, and therefore there might be a bigger problem, maybe even with the study itself. I think again, the focus should be that it is a snapshot. It's something that as a group, we're gonna have to drill down into, and there's absolutely going to be additional information to come along. The numbers themselves, they're simply the rolled up spreadsheets. So those can all be broken out. If we want to debate how much does it take to caulk a window, fine. But at the end of the day, I think looking at the big picture was the intent of the snapshot today, knowing we would be absolutely going down a much longer road that all of us would be part of.
Do we need a motion or? For Bob's request,
I'll make that motion.
we were asking for a full report and report